Good morning, everyone, respected dignitaries, Dean Ma'am, faculty members, fellow students, and all participants. This is Rupsha.
This is Shemundi, your moderators for the day.
Welcome to the third day of the third National Media Conclave organized by the Journalism and Mass Communication Department, jointly presented by the Center for Corporate and Career Advancement Cell of Sister Nivedita University. It's wonderful to see you all back, eager and energized for another day filled with knowledge, ideas, and meaningful discussions. This conclave has been a journey of exploring the shifting paradigm in media, communication, and journalism, and today we'll continue to build on that momentum.
With that, I welcome our esteemed hosts for the morning, Professor Rituparna Sarkar and Dr. Atoshi Bhattacharya. Professor Rituparna Sarkar is a seasoned educator and leader with over 25 years of experience, currently serving as the head of the department of the Center for Corporate and Career Advancement Cell. Dr. Atoshi Bhattacharya specializes in mass communication, media laws, and film studies, over 12 years of academic experience. Give a round of applause from them. Ma'am, please come on the stage.
Thank you, Rupsha. Thank you, Shemunti. You have been doing a brilliant job for the last 3 days, and it makes us feel very proud as teachers. Thank you so much. Well, before we start on today's session, I welcome you all for the session that is planned today. But I also slightly am heavy at heart because today is the concluding day. We worked very hard, as you all know, in order to put this session into shape the way it has turned out to be. So welcome to all of you, but at the same time, as I said, with a heavy heart, I'm welcoming you all. So, good morning, everyone. I hope you are refreshed and ready for day 3. Before we begin, let's reflect on the enriching presentations from yesterday. Day 2 featured a diverse array of discussions, from Anisha Ray's exploration of feminist narratives in urban India to Utshab Ganguly's paper on the intersection of artificial reality, communication and forensic investigation in law. Each presentation deepened our understanding of the media's role in society. We also delved into the presentation of crime in Indian web series, sparkling valuable conversation about media's influence on cultural narratives and societal norms. Additionally, we tackled pressing topics like free speech on social media, where tensions between open discourses and regulations were examined. Our discussions on the ethical challenges of artificial intelligence, rapidly reshaping sectors from journalism to entertainment, raised important questions about its future implications. As we move into today's discussion, I'm pleased to introduce myself. I'm Rituparna. I'm the host for the day. And along with me is my colleague, Atoshi. We both will be your host and guide for the day. Thank you again for your participation. Atoshi, over to you now.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And good morning, everyone. So as already summed up by ma'am, I'll just talk about some interesting papers which we found yesterday, which we discussed in different sessions, the 3 parallel sessions which happened yesterday. We found a paper, a case study on Judith, which was an interesting interdisciplinary paper, and English as a lingua franca. we got some breathtaking research happening in the field of transformative impact of AI and role of social media in fueling panics, moral panics. We got papers on assessing the impact of deep fakes and some interesting paper talking about the crime in Indian web series, the slangs used in Indian web series, which with the title "Hamari UP ke shaadi mein goli chalti hai." So these papers were highly hailed by the panel sessions. So these papers collectively highlight the intersections of culture, technology, and social dynamics, illustrating the complexities of contemporary issues in communication and media. So we welcome you all to today's session. Over to ma'am.
Thank you, Otoshi. We move on now with the felicitation of the dignitaries and guests who have blessed us and who have given their valuable time in order to make this conclave a great success. May I request Devoshri ma'am, are you here? To please come up on stage, and Dr. Durgesh Tripathi. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Tripathi, and thank you, Devoshri ma'am.
It is my distinct honor to introduce you to Mr. Ajay Gupta, former director of ICSSR and consultant to the Ministry of Education. He views research as a journey which starts from the grassroots. Welcome, sir, and I will welcome on stage Dr. Meenal Parekh, Dean of Journalism and Mass. It is a privilege to introduce a distinguished figure in the realm of media and communication, Dr. Uma Shankar Pandey, currently serving as the Associate Professor and Head of the Department of Journalism and Mass Communication at Surendranath College for Women, Kolkata. Dr. Pandey has been a guiding force in shaping an academic landscape of journalism. With a career that blends rich, hands-on journalistic experience with cutting-edge academic insight, Dr. Pandey brings a unique perspective to the study and practice of journalism. I will invite
Dr. Jumur Dasgupta here to felicitate Sir on stage. I apologize. It's Miss Jumur Dr. Gupta
And thank you, Dr. Uma Shankar Pandey. Again, apology.
We stand corrected, sir. We stand corrected. Shamrat Mukherjee is a dynamic leader with over 26 years of experience at the intersection of advertising, marketing, and technology. His expertise in visual and interactive communication, combined with a strong business acumen and creative vision, has positioned him as a strategic force in modern marketing. Currently, Shamrat heads the East and North India operations of Madison Loop, the creative division of Madison World, where he serves as vice president at Madison Communication Private Limited. He is also the founder of Crow's Nest, one of Kolkata's pioneering digital agencies, which he successfully managed for 13 years. Beyond his professional achievements, Shamrat has contributed to the industry as secretary of the Advertising Club for the last 5 years. AV, please. May I request my colleague, Mr. Shoykot Mojumdar, Assistant Professor in the Department of Journalism and Mass Communication, to kindly do the honors. Shamrat, you both can go towards the camera. Thank you, Shamrat. Thank you, Shoykot sir.
Please help me welcome Mr. Dr. Buroshiv Dasgupta. He is both a media professional and an academic for over 4 decades. Before joining academics, he has worked with many esteemed media organizations. He is at present professor and advisor to the School of Media Communication, Mass Communication, Journalism, and Fine Arts, Sister Nivedita University. Sir. And I would welcome Ms. Jumur Datta Gupta on stage to felicitate sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank
and
you,
thank
sir.
you, ma'am.
Thank you, Jhumur. Dr. Mala Mitro. She is a postgraduate from the Jadavpur University and PhD from the Indian Association for the Cultivation of Science. One postdoc from the same institute, and she went on to do her second postdoc from the University of British Columbia. She has a teaching experience of 21 years and a research experience of 30 years. The field of her research was high energy cosmic ray chaos and its application, environmental physics. Ma'am, may I please request you to please come on stage? And I would request a very dear colleague of mine, Arindam Basu. Okay. So in absentia, I would request Meenal ma'am to do the honors. Shoykot sir, send it. So we'll wait. Okay. Should we announce the plenary session and the students? Well, we will have to move ahead, and I would request Arindam sir to announce the plenary sessions will have to start.
Acha, there are certain changes today. Please note, the placement cell boardroom, the participants for the placement cell boardroom, they stay in the placement cell boardroom. That's going on undisturbed. Volunteers, please take Buruship sir to the placement cell boardroom for beginning of the session, paper presentation over there. That's number one. Number two, the online session that was going to happen in the boardroom below has now shifted to our studio on the 5th floor. Volunteers, I request you to take Mala ma'am to the studio because the presenters are ready. So we'll start the session over there. And the physical presentation here, offline presentation here in the seminar room has now been shifted to the boardroom. So I'm requesting the participants who were supposed to present here in the seminar hall to head to the boardroom downstairs. The session would be chaired by Shoykot Mojumdar. Shoykot, if you can kindly head to the boardroom with the participants, and the volunteers, please help them. Volunteers, please take Mala ma'am to the studio, Buruship sir to the placement cell boardroom, so that we can start with the paper presentation. Another small thing, Rupsha, are you there? Shivanti, Rohit Ganguly from Swami Vivekananda University, he was supposed to give his presentation in the offline mode, but now he's giving it in the online mode because he's stuck, he's somewhere midway. Okay, so he's going back to his university and he'll give it in online mode. So please ask Manish to add Rohit Ganguly, see it from the session, and give him a Zoom link so that he can uplink his PPT. Yeah, or you send him a link directly, and also tell Manish to add him to the online list. Okay, just do that. So, and we will begin the plenary session here. So volunteers, if you can arrange the chairs on the... Okay. So we have one more guest coming in. So we'll just wait, and after that we'll begin the plenary session.
Arindam sir, Could you ask Dr. Pandey whether he could recognize, we have a student of yours from your college. Could you recognize? I'm not talking about myself. That's what I'm asking you to do.
One small change. Sanjay sir has kindly agreed to chair the session in the boardroom. So, sir, someone take Sanjay sir to the boardroom. Volunteers, please put the chairs and tables here on the dais.
Moderated by Mr. Projit Jana. I request Arindam sir to do the needful.
Students, dignitaries, Mr. Projit Jana is a visiting faculty with us, but more than that, he's been an admin for over 3 decades, a writer in his own right, and a poet, and also a very active theatre personality. So, Projit sir, please come. So, in between classes are the days when Projit sir comes. The best thing is that we discuss theatre, we discuss literature. So he's a man of literature. Please come, sir. It's a great honor to have you as someone moderating this session. Thank you, sir. Please come.
Hello, everybody. So welcome to this particular session. We begin with, basically our central topic is death of advertising and digital age resurrection. We have got a very accomplished panel, actually, a very accomplished and very illustrious panel who will dwell with the different aspects of the topic, which I repeat once more. I think we can't project it on the screen. Anyway, I'm repeating it. Death of advertising, and digital age resurrection. So that is the main topic. Now, before coming into the answers, because we have got the very accomplished panel of guests who will deal with the answers, but before that we need to understand the question. The question raised by the topic. Because without answering the question, it will be difficult to understand the answers. So basically, what is death of advertising? What do we understand by death of advertising? Now, as you all know, that in the 50s, when advertising, entered the marketplace in Europe and USA, in the households rather, everybody thought that, the conventional media, like radio and print advertising, those are going to be obsolete. A lot of people thought that radio will be no more, the other conventional forms of advertising will be no more. But as we all know, yes, there was initial setbacks, huge setbacks. Revenues, switched off from the conventional media to the advertising media. But in the long run, as we know, that there was resurrection of those old forms, whether it's radio or it's print media. They kind of rose from the ashes and they were all resurrected. But today, in the digital age, what we are observing is a qualitative change. Particularly, that in the digital, in the phase of digital marketing, social media, as we, our accomplished guests will, elaborate these things further, but social media plays a very important role, and one of the main characteristics of social media is user-generated content. The marketing people, they take the back seat. The marketing guys take the back seat in social media, and it is dominated by the users, by the consumers. So, and the consumers play a major role in social media market by way of sharing views, by way of making comments. Yeah. Okay, yeah, another guest of ours has arrived. He will also be included in this panel. Shoykot will announce that. But, what I was talking about is basically, the marketer takes the back seat in social media and consumer, plays a decisive role by sharing opinions, by, by giving recommendations, by making reviews, as you all know. So consumers play a dominating role in, so from that, a whole lot of marketing guru, they have come to the conclusion, not all of them, a part of them, they have come to the conclusion that not only conventional advertising, today conventional advertising means non-digital advertising, whether it's, television advertising or it's radio advertising. So those are called conventional advertising. So not only conventional, even digital advertising like PPC ads and all those things, Facebook ads and all, these are also becoming obsolete according to a section of the market group, which I would expect our guests to deal with. This is a very important aspect. Why? Because consumers, I'm sure Shamrat, being a digital person, he will acknowledge this, that the consumers depend on the consumers more than on the advertisers. Consumers trust the consumers more than the advertisers in today's digital world. Consumer trusts the reviews by fellow consumers more than advertising communication. So that is a viewpoint. I'm talking of one particular viewpoint. I'm not saying this is sacrosanct. That is one part of the story. There are other parts of the stories also. There are other viewpoints also. But this is a viewpoint which talks about the death of advertising. Okay. So, definitely I will not go any further because this is basically we are trying to understand the question that are we talking of conventional advertising or we are talking about digital advertising also? Is digital advertising is also getting obsolete? Like one aspect I'll just, definitely our guests will touch it, that, the importance of television advertising is brand building, as you all know, development of consumer. It's a major, but when the consumer themselves are aware, today, we get a whole lot of informed consumers. Awareness level is very high in the digital world. So with the consumers who are aware, for them, brand building becomes a second thing. for them, you know, calling the, calling action, the call action advertising, what we call the call action advertising. That call action advertising has become more important than brand building, according to a particular viewpoint. Again, I'm talking of a particular viewpoint which pronounces, the death of advertising. Like, you remember Julius Caesar when Brutus says that, Brutus justifies himself, says that, not that I love Caesar less, but I love Rome more. Likewise, today's, advertisers, they say that yes, we also love advertising, but we have to accept the reality. That conventional advertising, that is a thing of the past, and we are just accepting that reality. And even in digital advertising plane, rather than digital advertising, the user-generated content, the reviews, the recommendation, the exchanges, that is more pertinent, more relevant with respect to marketing communication. So I conclude there. So this is the question that we are dealing with, and definitely, our expert panels, they will deal into it. So now Shoikat, please come over, and Shoikat will have some announcement here.
Yes, we are delighted to have one more guest in our panel, Mr. Amitabh Chakraborty, Head of Corporate Relations and Public Relations, Apollo Multi-Speciality Hospitals. Mr. Chakraborty started his career as a journalist and has a very distinguished background, academic background, and he has a fantastic career in the media and newspaper, leading dailies like the Telegraph, the Times of India, and the Indian Express, and then he moved to the corporate world, and there also he is working very successfully. We are pleased to have Mr. Amitabh Chakraborty with us. Please, can we have a round of applause for him? And before the discussion starts, and Prajit sir will also has already introduced the topic. So before the discussion starts, we would like to felicitate Mr. Chakraborty. Mr. Chakraborty, can you please come on stage? And I would like to call upon our Dean, Dr. Minal Parikh, to come on stage to felicitate Mr. Chakraborty. I would like to call all the guests on stage and take their respective seats and start the discussion, please. We are pleased to have Dr. Durgesh Tripathi, Dr. Uma Shankar Pandey, Mr. Ajay Kumar Gupta, and Mr. Amitabh Chakraborty with us.
Hello. I would first request Mr. Shamrat Mukherjee to come over and, deliver his lecture, deliver his speech. The background of Mr. Shamrat Mukherjee has already been given. So basically he has got a long career in advertising. with focus on digital marketing and generally, overall advertising. Now he's a vice president of Madison, and he also, he used to run. I knew him once upon a time when he used to run, the digital marketing. That's one of the pioneer digital marketing house in Kolkata. So I would invite Shamrat to come over and, start his. Thank you. Okay, yeah, sure. I'm also taking this if you need this.
Hi, good morning, everyone. It's still good morning. First, respected, distinguished panelists, members here, the organizing committee, thank you so much for inviting me. It's a very interesting topic that Mr. Jana has introduced to us. While I don't really believe in that statement, I cannot believe that advertising is dead. And but of course, as in there have been changes. There have been changes because consumers are not the usual consumers anymore. Consumers, because of so much of information, I call it democratization of the society with the advent of internet, the access to internet, and hence, as in all of us are a lot more aware than what we used to be some, say maybe 15, 20 years back. And that has created a lot of change, So what I would rather like to believe is advertising has shifted. And there are shifting codes that we practitioners need to understand and behave accordingly. And I'm using this word behave because it's also the onus on the marketeers along with the brand owners. It is the onus of the marketeers as well, the practitioners, who will see as in how, even through advertising, we can actually build a better world. I will request you to please load the deck. While I think it's not that there are too much of, yeah, thank you so much, thanks. Yeah, thanks. So what I would like to talk about, as in instead of saying as in death of advertising, I will rather say it is the new era of advertising, And new era of advertising, not limiting to what, just about selling products, but advertising all the while. We have seen great advertising moves world. It shapes behavior of people. And brands have always taken the onus, large brands particularly, responsible brands, they have taken the onus to actually try and shape the world in a better manner. What I will do is, I will quickly run you through 7 shifting codes of advertising, what we are observing and what we are trying to practice for our brands. I will not take time to show examples, but if any one of you would like to take pictures of this slide, I've mentioned about the examples here. You can just Google to find out the campaigns from there, from Google, because otherwise it's going to be a very, very long session. So 7 shifting codes that I would like to talk about is the first and one of the important thing is inclusivity and representation. Instead of as in just going through this, I will just quickly take you through. So what is inclusivity and representation? So when I'm saying inclusivity and representation, it is about advertisers to focus on inclusivity and breaking stereotypes. And when I'm saying breaking stereotypes, that means as in it cannot be telling the same thing again and again, which is the societal norm, but we know as in this norm is not relevant or doing any good to the society right now, and we need to break that stereotype. We need to showcase just not as in a section of the community, but it has to showcase the diverse races, genders, cultures, all of this. It cannot limit to a section of society when we are representing in a communication. And same thing as in it should also reflect the impact of how it is going to touch the society. So why it matters? Because, and it is not that as in it just have to be done because the brand should feel it that way. Because the consumers are also expecting that way. Because consumers, as I mentioned, consumers are informed consumers today. They have access to a whole lot of information. A brand cannot just come and claim anything and go away. They cannot get away with just whatever they want to claim to. So, and these are out of some Kantar studies that 61% of consumers say diversity in advertising influences their purchase decision. So we as consumers also want to buy that brand who has that moral responsibility, who showcases their product, who creates communication, which kind of embraces this particular codes. Brands reflecting modern societal representation will always win over, you know. So, couple of examples, you can take snaps of this. If, I can leave the presentation also, one can take from there. So, just look at as in how, so Nike, while it is a sports company, more to be seen as active lifestyle, they created a campaign featuring Colin Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick has disabilities, right? He is differently abled. But then Nike created a campaign with him, and that's when I say as in the brands needs to be responsible to showcase thing as in so that it inspires a larger community, not limiting to sections of the society. Similarly, Dove's Real Beauty campaign, you know, where they do not just restrict it to good-looking women, but then they kind of reached out to a masses of the real users and showcase them in the campaign. So that's where is in the brands are showing the ways to move forward. The second shifting code is transparency. Brands needs to be transparent, you know, and when I say transparent means as in the brand has to communicate in a much clearer manner. It should not hide away things. It should not tell a story which is otherwise not true. And you must have seen as in recently we have seen a particular influencer who created a lot of content about as in label paro, you know. And what has happened? So the large brands who has not highlighted on the various ingredients, now they have to come clear, and because people have started already reading it. As I'm going back to my early point again, that consumers are informed today. You cannot get away by just claiming anything and people will start buying. So people know as in what to do, and if people are not aware, someone or the other like food farmer will come and hold that up and bring it in front of us through the mediums that we are most kind of stays with us, right? Mobile phones and the communication. So consumers demands clear communication today, you know, about products, ingredients, partnership, data collection process, everything. And that helps in building trust and keeping the consumers informed about what they're purchasing and how it may affect their life. So that's the second shifting code, which is transparency. And why it matters, because 94% of consumers say transparency influences their loyalty to a brand. And brands lacking transparency, they are showing a decline today. Just a couple of examples. Patagonia, some of you may know Patagonia is a very large lifestyle apparel business of the world. So what they do, they kind of bring in reports like impact reports disclosing the environmental impact of products. And if you go to their website, you will understand their way of communication. They're absolutely clean. They talk about how they source, what kind of guarantee they call a ironclad guarantee. So which brand can actually come and say as in everything that I'm guaranteeing my product and it's ironclad, So whatever it is, you don't have to explain me much. I will just change the product. So the point is, as in these brands are communicating in a manner where you actually get to see as in this behaviors of transparency. So there are other campaigns also. Volkswagen created a campaign around, they call it Dieselgate, So diesel, we know as it's not really good for environment, right? Its emission is not conducive to the environment. So they actually came out with a report. While they have most of the cars as in which used to run on diesel, but then they came out with a report like that. So that's transparency, transparent behavior of a brand. The third code is data privacy and digital ethics. More and more what has happened in the digital era is there is so much of data of every one of us. So someone or the other, as in the tech giants, they exactly know where I'm standing right now. Possibly know what all information I had seeked from the morning. So they've got each and every data of us. But then there has to be a digital ethics in place for each of the brands in terms of how they're going to use those data that they have with them. So rise of digital marketing and consumer expectations have changed, and brands expected to be responsible so that the data, their data and they comply with the regulations. So there are regulations also, like there are a lot of ad frauds happening, there are various things happening because someone or the other is not responsible and not holding our data securely. But then larger brands, say for a Google, they have put it to practice as in how they're going to protect our data. Similar with Meta, similar with a whole lot of other businesses. And the same thing, if you see as in each and every brand today is trying to collect first party data, right? They want to know our mobile numbers, they want to know our names, they want to know our date of birth. They want a lot of information so that they can personalize our experience with that particular brand. But in turn, what is happening? They are holding a lot of data of ours. And we have a panelist here as in who represents the healthcare business, right? The amount of data they have with them, if they do not behave responsibly, think of it how it can get misused. So it's very, very important today for any brands. And when we see advertising is not about just selling. Advertising is about creating a value for the brands, which in turn helps people to choose that particular brand. And so all these practices, activities, and the way a brand behaves creates the brand. And so advertising is kind of core to all of this. So these practices, so as a, say, what we see today, brands coming out and talking about their practices, that's advertising. Because they follow a certain practice, that will attract the consumer. And why it matters, again, 79% of consumers are concerned about how companies use their data. Unless we feel secured with a certain healthcare business, we will always be afraid as in how they know each and everything of ours, as in where is my ailment, what kind of financial situation I am in, because they have read me all out, all in and all out when I'm interacting with them. So can they misuse it? Of course they can, but then that's the responsible behavior, and if they showcase their responsible behavior through communication, only then we will get assured and we will feel like going to that particular place. Again, examples, we have seen Apple's privacy ad, we have seen Google's ad transparency tools, and all this today, as in it's not about only creating a communication, as I'm mentioning. So even a report getting published out of a particular business is also in turn advertising today. Because people have access to those information, and when they access those information, they go through it, they form a certain kind of an imagery, certain kind of an understanding of that particular business, and hence we get attracted or we feel committed to those businesses. Fifth is sustainability. So sustainability is again a practice. In turn, if you see a lot of communication today are around the sustainable practices that a brand brings into place. And sustainability again is a priority for consumers today. We again feel good when we see a certain brand is actually practicing sustainability. They're actually using a eco-friendly bag to give the products away. Or the packaging has become eco-friendly that it's not just plastic, but it's a compostable product. If the product is that, we get attracted. So again, advertising is not only limited to the communication that is getting created, but through the packaging itself. That packaging is acting like an advertising today. And the moment as in a brand is putting these to practice, we as consumers, as in responsible consumers, we feel attracted to those products. And we form certain values for those brands. Almost similar, just examples again, IKEA's People and Planet Positive strategy. Again, Patagonia, who created a campaign saying, don't buy this jacket, because, and they have been very, very clear about how they have created that product, what kind of carbon footprint that was left because of the creation of that particular product. So their campaign was, don't buy this jacket. So that's the kind of, as an attitude, consumers are expecting from brands. And that also create the campaigns. So the value that we seek from our environment, if a particular brand is communicating around that, then it actually creates a larger impact and larger kind of an understanding of the brand, and hence we get attracted. Body positivity, again very, very important. So body positivity, so this is the fifth code, we will just quickly run. So body positivity again, as in it is not that one has to only use beauty in terms of showcasing beauty or woman to kind of showcase the product. We need to understand, we need to kind of touch upon the real society. And when we talk about the real society, we will see as in how the consumers or the people, they will kind of get attracted towards our brand. Again, I have got examples of ASOS body positive clothing. Dove has done that body positivity stuff. Billy Razor have done. Then the sixth one is mental health and responsible advertising. Again, it kinds of culminates to this. That brands again needs to understand what is the mental state. So we are all, at times we feel disturbed today, right? Because of so much of information, we process so much of information in our mind, as in through news, through what's happening to the world. I think at this point of time, there are 5 wars happening around the world. So this disturbs us, right? And it's very, very important that brands coming and talking in a manner which kind of helps us calm down, you know. So increasing awareness around ethical treatment of mental health is also one very, very important thing. And how brands are kind of participating? Brands in a manner, in a surrogate manner, they're coming and pitching and trying to build forums, trying to build academies, which are in turn helping consumers. As in, Reen has created one academy, you know, a Shining Academy. What it does, it actually helps as in people who do not have access to good language capabilities and all. So that academy helps them get ready to face the world, as in to kind of start their career. That's how, as in, brands are participating in all these activities. There's lack of time and I'm kind of rushing. So again, Dove has a self-esteem project which kind of helps people to kind of overcome challenges that they have in their mind. Similarly, Headspace is a particular business which is around the mental wellness campaign. mental wellness space. Netflix created, someone mentioned that there was a paper which talks about the profanity that's been used in OTT, right? So that may affect people, a section of the people adversely. So Netflix has a program which says as in 13 not to do things. Which kind of 13 reasons why is the campaign, where it talks about the different triggers that may affect people, or by the amount of consumption you're doing, as in it will show information as in what you should not watch or how you should watch content. So that's how as in brands are coming. So for Netflix, it is, the business is about when people will come and only watch you, right? But then they can come out and create a campaign which says as in 13 things why, and where they say as in the different triggers that you should avoid. And you should not be watching things continuously. You should see various things, not one kind of a genre, not only say violence in the film. So all of that is very, very important, and how brands are kind of coming across and commenting or creating content, creating campaigns will help in building a better society. Seventh and most important is authenticity, you know. So consumers value realness and sincerity in advertising. So some of you must be knowing as in there is a brand called The Whole Truth, right? If you see from their packaging to the communication, it only talks about exactly what goes in their product, how they have manufactured it, and all that. So, and it's just one name I am saying, but then there are multiple young, new generation brands that are coming up now, who are following these practices. They're talking everything real, as in exactly from where they're sourcing, how much they're putting, how it can affect your health, who should not take it, and all of it. So authentic storytelling is also very, very important, you know. So you can find those nuances, you can find those things out of your practice, what exactly helps and how it helps our consumer. So that's the 7 codes that I wanted to mention. Just to sum up, I will say advertising is about values. It's about defining what you stand for and sharing it with the world. So that's a quote from Steve Jobs, and that's very, very important. So advertising is not about just selling product. Advertising is about creating values in the society through our products. So now more than ever, I just want to sum up, now more than ever, the values we choose to highlight will define our brand's future. So it's not only about as in just the society, for our business also, we need to focus that we need to identify the values and we need to talk about it. In this new era of advertising, success belongs to those who communicate with purpose, lead with integrity, and build trust through authentic communication and building connections. So that's how I think as in advertising is shifting their codes, and how brands should follow these practices. Thank you.
Hello. That was a very fascinating discourse given by Shamrat, but unfortunately we have got time constraints. So I'm sorry that I have to remind all the speakers that due to time constraint, I would request them to keep their disquisition within 10 minutes, if possible. It can be 2 minutes here and then, that's not important. So I would request Professor Dr. Durgesh Tripathi to come over. Just one sec, sir. Already his background has been given, but I'll just give a glimpse of his, because he has got a very illustrious career and he has got a, multifaceted activities. So I'll just give a glimpse of, his activities and his, faculties. Dr. Tripathi is a distinguished academician in India, as well as he is also globally recognized for his significant contribution to the field of digital media, youth, and online education. He holds the rare honor, rare honor of having presented his insights at the esteemed House of Commons in the British Parliament, where he shared the stage with the editor of the prestigious New York Times. His commitment to the democratization of higher education is evident in his advocacy for open educational resources, or OERs, and open online courses. Dr. Tripathi firmly believes in harnessing digital mediums to ensure that education reaches every individual, every nook and corner, and every individual is eager to learn, upskill. So this is just a glimpse. He has got many other credibilities, which you can talk about. But due to lack of constraint, I've just given a glimpse of his background. I would request him to come and deliver his speech. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. I feel proud, privileged to be the part of this very prestigious and contemporary national media conclave, duly organized by the very prestigious University of West Bengal, Sister Nivedita University, Kolkata. I feel thankful to all the organizers, especially Professor Minal, Rituparna ji, Atisi, one of the best prominent name in Delhi. She is the Chief Minister of our state. And I feel great honor to be the part of this very contemporary panel with the Samrat, with the Mr. Ajay Gupta ji, Dr. Uma Shankar Pandey ji, and Mr. Amitabh Chakravarti ji. It's very easy task for me to discuss about some of the basic idea about digital education inclusion in higher education institution, or in other words, we can say that democratization of education. As we know that in the classroom, as a teacher, as a faculty member, we face the learners, students from generation like millennials, Gen Z, and Generation Alpha. And I also say that it's a basic difference between student and the teacher in nowadays in the classroom is a difference between information and the knowledge. I do believe that as a teacher, as a scholar, as a learner, we already gone through the basic idea about information. As we know that the generation as a learners in the classroom, they well informed, better than the teacher. But as a teacher, I can say that we have better knowledge, better insight than any of the teacher, any of the learner in the classroom, learners of the classroom. We have already gone through some of the previous speakers related with some of the keywords if we will discuss about the diverse, inclusive, environment friendly, sustainable, some of the basic idea related with the inclusive approach, and many more. And I do believe that if you look forward to adopt, to acknowledge the digital education in our day-to-day life or in the classroom, we have to abide, we have to acknowledge, we have to appreciate the basic idea of United Nations Sustainable Development Goal number 4 related with the quality education. But besides UNSDG 4 related with the quality education to all, I would like to request and to invite you for your kind attention to discuss and to focus about some of the key aspects of another or other UNSDGs. Like SDG 5 is related with the gender equality. Again, United Nations Sustainable Development Goal number 9, it's a scientific research and the innovation. If we look upon to acknowledge and to adhere the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal, then we have to avoid, we have to acknowledge some of the UNSDGs, like UNSDG 4, 5, 9, and SDG 10 calls for reducing inequalities from the society or from the global world. As well as UNSDG 16.10, let it be the public access to information. And for to ensure any kind of a civil society, we have to focus on the transformation in other words, we can say that it's easy to access, easy to open for all. After that, we can be able to ensure that we live in civil society. As well as SDG 17 calls for partnership for the goals. Goals related with many of the sustainable development goal of duly established by, duly focused by, duly constituted by the United Nations. But if we look forward to reach each and every strata of our society, if we would like to provide the inclusive education for every strata of society, there cannot be any restriction if we look forward to impart our quality education to all. Then we have to focus, we have to follow the digital education. And as per the Government of India decisions, Government of India policy, and nowadays, every part of our country, we have to focus, we have to acknowledge the sum of the digital education inclusion in higher education institutions. So that we can say that we abide, we follow the UNSDG 4 related with the quality education to all. Again, if you look forward for the equal society and to impart and to reach and to engage towards the unprivileged or a marginalized learners or a society, to engage with your quality education or a potential of knowledge, we have to follow the digital education or online education. We can debate over the limitations of the quality or a data speed or infrastructure. But I feel fortunate to say that there is no other option other than the inclusion of the digital education in our pedagogy, in our education system, if we look forward to reach and engage every part of the society, every strata of the society. And we know that in our country we have very diverse kind of a socio-economic conditions in the society. As we know that our country has very distinct kind of geopolitical and geoclimatic situation. We cannot compare with the infrastructure, with the potential of knowledge of the teachers or the faculty members towards the northeastern part of our country, or a J&K and Ladakh, or western coastal part like Bhuj or southern coastal part of our country. But as a member of the United Nations, as we are also a leader in the digital education nowadays in a global education world, we have to follow, we have to acknowledge, we have to provide the inclusive nature of the education. And that's why I would like to invite you as a teacher, as a learner, as a scholar, as a faculty member, please come and join the digital education revolution in our country. If we look forward for a flipped classroom or a digital classroom, or and we look forward to benefits of the blended learning, like the national conclave that you have already organizing, and it's a third day. I do hope that the previous speakers have already been discussed and told and engaged about the same so that we can be able to reach out every strata of the society for the betterment of the society, to ensure the civil society. We have to focus, we have to acknowledge, we have to include the digital education in our education system. And we have, I feel fortunate to say that one of the panelists, Professor Uma Shankar Pandey, you can discuss and you can engage with the various experience related with how they have started their journey as a digital education. And they have, and nowadays he is the leader of the digital education. He has also crossed more than 100 of the YouTube presentation, as well as he has already crossed kitna abhi Uma Shankar? 172. And you may see, and you may reach out, and you may find out the basic idea of mass communication, communication research, advertising, principles of advertising and digital PR, and many of the basic idea of the same. And I feel fortunate to say that, I feel blessed to say that I am the co-principal investigator of EPG Parsala, which is the national, which is the parameter, we can say that. It's a national mission on education through ICT, duly started, the initiative by Government of India, Ministry of Education. Now I am the course coordinator of a MOOC course, Society and Media, related with the mass communication students and the PG. And you may find out the many of the courses of your interest on the SWAYAM platform. It's a Government of India platform. And you may, after completion of the course, you may be able to find out a certificate of a 4 credit, duly certified by the Government of India, Ministry of Education. That's why I look forward to invite you and to invite you for the better understanding, for better future prospects, and for your commitment related with the education 4.2. Thank you again for inviting me and to giving me chance to showcase my little journey, little contribution related with the digital education. And I look forward to reach and to receive and to welcome any of the question from the audience as a learner, as a scholar. If you have any doubt, any confusion related with the digital education inclusion in higher education institutions in our country. Thank you again. Thank you. Any question? Or we may be able to discuss after panel discussion or after the completion of the panelist. Yeah, please. Thank you.
It was a very insightful discussion. As you can, after the panel discussion is over, we'll keep about, we don't have much time, unfortunately, we have got certain time constraints, but still we'll try to keep a short question answer session for about 5-10 minutes. So if you want to ask any questions to our guests, you can ask them questions. Now I'll invite Professor Uma Shankar Pandey. Just 1 second, sir, I'll just give a, Dr. Uma Shankar Pandey. Dr. Pandey is an associate professor and head of department of journalism and mass communication of Surendranath College for Women, affiliated with University of Calcutta. He has got a distinguished career spanning over 2 decades. Dr. Pandey serves as a PhD supervisor at the University of Calcutta and has, made important contributions to media and communication research. His roles include being the first Indian ambassador for the International Association for Media and Communication Research. Come in, Mr. Pandey. So Dr. Uma Shankar Pandey, he will now take over. Come in, sir. Unfortunately, we have some time constraints.
I'll do that. চলছে না এটা চলছে কি না
Hello.
Thank you, Shobik. Are you all there? Students, you're there or you're sleeping? Can you raise your hands? Are you there? How many of you here are not sleeping? Right, thank you. because you are very important, and this is a very profound topic. This speak of death and resurrection. It's very philosophical. The only dispute I have is that the Indian philosophy neither believes in death nor it believes in resurrection. So it's just the same consciousness that goes along. And there's a beautiful ad. Shobhi, can we play the ad first, and then we discuss a little bit about death and resurrection. I can only see myself, Yeah, so this is just to wake you up. Sound, please. No, it's fine. Huh?
शर्मा की दुल्हन जो ब्याह के आई, संग टू सीटर सोफा ले आई। पड़ गयो नाम शर्मा इनका सोफा, हाय रे शर्मा इनका सोफा। शर्मा इन बहन का ब्याह कराइन, सोफा पे नवा कपड़ा चढ़ाइन। बन गयो वो मिसरा इनका सोफा, हाय रे मिसरा इनका सोफा। मिसरा इनका लड़का कलेक्टर बनेलू, सोफा पे रख जीन चमड़ा चढ़ेलू। बन गयो कलेक्टर इनका सोफा, हाय रे कलेक्टर इनका सोफा। कलेक्टर की बिटिया लव मैरिज करेली, सोफा पे बंगाली किरमिट चढ़ेली। बन गयो वो बंगालन का सोफा, हाय रे बंगालन का सोफा। 12 घरों का ब्याह निपटाओ, सोफा 60 का होने को आओ। देखी गंगा पार की शादी, देखी देश के बाहर की शादी। अब कोई ब्याह कराए या न कराए, हाय पर सोफा बनाए तो दिल से बनाए।
Thank you so much. So it's the same sofa, which keeps coming back. So I'll probably take you back about maybe 2,000 years back to say, talk about all the resurrection and all that you're talking about. Now there is a real problem that advertising faces, and one of them that is fatigue, and we all know that. My young niece, she has to take a YouTube premium account so that she does not need to watch the advertisement. But the good thing is that when she watches my videos, I get paid for that. So that again is, again the same thing, So it's just, how you make use of this situation. There is a fatigue. There's a problem. People do not like watching ads the way they've been. So how do we reinvent? And that's how we, shall we go to download kora gache? Chali dao tale. So I didn't know that a panel discussion would be of this form, so I was not present with any presentation. So sitting there when Samratji was making his brilliant presentation, I just made this on Canva right here in 5 minutes. So forgive the formatting and all, but let's make the most of it. So I hope that this works. It does? Oh, I have to point at you? So because this is PDF, I don't think it might work. It will? If you say it will, then it. Yeah, so there's no death. It's just a small blip. Pause. Yeah. You can help me with that. So yeah. So the point is, there are problems. Let's understand that. There is that fatigue. There is that people have been so used to this kind of a thing that there are certain new things that we have to look at. And of course, where do we go back? Now, if you just look at the advertisement I just played for you. Guys, are you there? You there in the green? Shuncho, kothata shun. AJ Babu. You are right there in my views. So I get distracted if you are, talking amongst yourselves. Please, there's something useful. It might help you. And as teachers, we have this very bad habit of making sure that everyone is paying attention to us. Sorry. So now the problems. Now see, this is where we are going to take you back to. there is a certain very important emotional element there. It is creating these kind of emotions there. You can just start playing that, but I don't think that this presentation is important. This is just, I won't keep it to the presentation, otherwise the chair, knows that it's like, so let's come to the next, keep going back. Important thing, whether I can create these emotions. And there are theories there. It's known as the affect theory. That even before our mind starts working, it's the emotion that has an important role to play. We've been discussing that for more than 2,000 years. The rasa theory that talks about that these emotions, the sthai bhavs, are already there, and how we can invoke that so that you remember that. All the beautiful movies and the sofa video that you remember is because it strikes a particular chord. And what is that chord? That emotional chord that makes us identify with that. That makes us identify with a lot of those things. So in the age of AI, where there are so many things, Shobik, you are brilliant. Thank you so much. So this is what I was talking about. The power of emotions in influencing consumer behavior. Now, the rasa theory talks about, 9 sthai bhavs and 33 transitory emotions. Believe me, I'm not going to talk about all that. What I'm trying to emphasize is that this has to come back in that form. That unless you create that rasa, that emotional connect with people, it is not going to last. It's not just about emotions. It's beyond that. It's about AI makes it possible. It understands what Atishi wants, or what Durgesh Bhai wants, or what Gupta ji wants. We all know what Gupta ji wants. I mean, Gupta ji is very transparent. But AI would know even more than what we know about you. So that kind of a personal thing, so you know what kind of an emotion works for you. So that is one very important point that we are talking about. Happiness, fear, surprise, relatability. I'm not going to talk about the rest, but believe me, there's a very profound philosophy about how to invoke these rasas amongst people, and there are ways of discussing how it works. So crafting experiences that resonate. That's the point that I'm trying to make here. Because it's about creating those specific states, and they're already there. So it talks of all these levels. It's there in the consciousness. It goes beyond the surface to reach to that inner level where, they call it by a wonderful name. It's known as sadharanikaran. So it's no longer the ad which matters, but the emotion becomes, kind of pervasive for everyone. So that is where it has to strike a chord, because intellect, buddhi, is an external organ according to Indian philosophy. It's not what I am. I am not what I think I am. I'm something deeper than that. And that's where we are trying to reach, just going beyond just logic. Of course, logic is important, but going beyond that. So digital advertising, it works in one of those ways, Adbhut Ras and Hasya Ras and all that. I don't want to get into details. We do not have time. But this emotional resonance is very, very important. The second point that we are trying to make here is the power of suggestion. So it's no longer just, oh, I thought you were coming to tell me to stop. So this is you're not directly making a point. So different people have different experiences out of that. And that's what the Dhwani theory is. That again is related to Indian aesthetics. I mean, Abhinav Gupta and all that. I mean, we study it in a very small way in our philosophy classes. But it's important to mainstream that so we understand the importance of suggestion. I mean, the words that they were using is something that resonates. Collectrine ka sofa. So that is something which is not there, in any kind of copywriting class. I mean, how that resonates with audiences that when we play that even now, it makes that. So the emphasis on the unsaid and the suggestion is very important, because as I said, and one reason, and Samraji was talking about that, is that why is OTT content so very profound these days, or so very popular these days? Because it has detailed information about every activity that we do. How many times we turn back and play that on a loop? Which are the places we skip on? Where do we watch it and where do we not watch it? So on and so forth. And AI makes it to a different level altogether. So we have that kind of information about the audience, and that's where we can bring in those subtle impacts for these subtle groups of people, so that, for different people accessing the same advertisement, they get different experiences. Maybe through all these suggestions, you highlight certain emotional aspects to create a more profound effect. Because we have, even neuroscience, we have something known as mirror neurons. Has anyone heard of this term, mirror neurons, before? Mirror neurons? Atashi, you must have heard. No? Okay. Say, for example, when Kohli just, snicks a ball and he gets out. You are watching in front, you are sitting in front of the television, you feel as if you have snicked the ball. Or as if you yourself have got out. Or when somebody is, racing and, trying to catch hold of the car, ja Simran, ja pakad le, train pakad. You are also, in there, you are also, arey yaar, jao pakdo. Train ko dhima kar do, and all that. So we go through that. It has all these, biochemical impulses. So we go through that kind of situation ourselves. That's mirror neurons for you. But as I said, it's been there. They talk about these thigh barbs are already there. And how do we evoke that so that we can, strike a chord? The third point is about storytelling, because we have been storytellers for ages. And that's what resonates, because a lot of those profound ideas can be made very simple if we just package them in a story format. And when they are in a story format, they are a lot more effective. So these storytelling techniques will have to be, there, so that, we can package the same thing. As I said, we don't believe in death and resurrection. There is no death. There is no resurrection. It's the same energy that flows in different forms. It's there in a different form, in a different format. So it's not just about death, but how we make use of these philosophies which have been there, as I said, for more than 2,000 to 3,000 years, and how we can create these stories, at times even metaphors. The entire Indian aesthetics is about beautiful metaphors, and how we can relate to our everyday life, and how we can add more value to it. Because more and more content will be created by better and better forms of generative pre-trained transformers, the GPTs. I mean, they will learn. Zero-shot learning is a reality. They don't have to be trained on data sets to bring out with some output. Chairman, sir, do I have 1 or 2 minutes, or I have? Oh, thank you, sir. You were looking at a watch. I thought that maybe I have over. Okay, thank you. So it's there. The AI technology is there. It will recreate in wonderful language. I mean, of course, for copywriters, all the atrocious Bengali translation at times will get better, because ChatGPT is much better at translating than Google Translate, for example, because it's a reinforcement learning and all that. I'm not getting into the technology. The point is that the content part of it is becoming much easier. Now we have to look at the human part of it, the emotions, the suggestions, the stories, and how people relate to it and how they react to it. Because as I said, it's more about emotions first. And I mean, Durgesh was talking about the videos. I did a video on affect theory as well. And basically it's this, that we first feel good or bad about something, and then we decide whether it's good or bad or whatever. So the emotion comes first. But as I said, it's been there for ages for us. So this experiential advertisement, again, these technologies, as I said, will work, AR and VR. It will work only if that emotional element is there, or if we are able to arouse those mirror neurons, which are important, because most of the time, and again, that is science. There was a wonderful book by Daniel Kahneman, Fast Thinking and Slow Thinking. Most of the times, we skip things. We just make assumptions based on certain very small ideas. They're known as heuristics. We are not going to engage deeply with most of the stuff. By nature, we are cognitive misers. We do not want to expend a lot of our cognitive energy. We want to preserve it. And that is why very often it's based on very small inputs that we create an idea about people. Only when we realize that, oh, okay, this is something more profound, we try and engage with that. And my contention is that it will be more profound if these emotional connects are made. And sadly, I mean, at times we do not give as much importance to emotions as important, but we suggest that, especially in the backdrop of all these, I'm not saying that, let's be melodramatic like the Ekta Kapoor serial all the time. I mean, of course, one of the reasons why OTT works, or these series like Panchayat works, because they're getting that balance very correct. They're neither getting overboard, nor are they getting, too understated to miss the trick. So that kind of a balance is very important. So these AR and VR technologies will be impactful if those participatory experiences become a part of or resonate your lived experiences in certain ways. Personalization as modern rasa, I've already spoken about hyper-personalized advertising, because it is very, very easy now, to target it. I mean, that's how, the entire social network works. I mean, your news feed is different from the person sitting next to you. It's based on a lot of those factors. So, based on your emotional profiles. And there was a wonderful book by Shoshana Zuboff. It was called Surveillance Capitalism. I'll just end on this note. And she has a very kind of it's a warning for a lot of us, because now again there is something known as behavioral economics. There's a wonderful book called Nudge by Richard Thaler, where it says that a lot of things I might not have done. A lot of these emotions might not have been created, but someone nudged me into doing that. I might not have been angry with the government, but the social media post that came in right at that point of time, when they knew that I would be angry, I got more angrier. So they make us do things which we otherwise would not have done, and that is the problem with technology. They know a lot more about us. I mean, your emotional states, they are just, they are numbers. Even words are numbers. It's called tokenization. I'm not getting into details of these techniques, but they know your emotional states. And based on your emotional states, they know that, okay, 6 o'clock in the morning, you are generally happy. I'll send you a Amazon, Flipkart, whatever, and you will buy that. Otherwise, you might not have bought that. But I know that at this point of time, you're very, in an upbeat mood, in an exuberant mood. Okay, India has beaten Bangladesh badly. Okay, now I'll send this to you now. You do that about that. So this is an issue which is very important. This is all well established, that a lot of the things that we otherwise would not have done, we're doing because they know a lot more about us than we do. As I was saying, that we know a lot about Gupta ji, but the gadgets that he uses knows a lot more than very close friends like us. And that is where, the challenge is. But the positive side, since I know a lot more about him, I know how to make best use of it. And as I said, getting the right emotions, the right impact, and putting it on things which have been there. They've been there for ages. People have been talking about these things for ages. The point is that we've moved away from that, and that is why we talk of death and resurrection. For us, it's the same consciousness repeating again and again and again and again. It's no death, no resurrection. So we know ad blockers are required. So how to weave that into normal storytelling? It's no longer just advertisements, but, and this is the last point, blurring the lines between advertising and content. So it's no longer just traditional advertising, but content creational, emotional engagement, and user interaction. So that's my 10 minutes. Thank you very much for your patience. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, for the next talk, I would invite Ajay Gupta, sir, former director of Indian Council of Social Science and Research and consultant to the Ministry of Education. He views research as a journey that starts for the grassroots. He believes every day in a student's life offers a chance for discovery. By encouraging and motivating young scholars, he fosters a vibrant culture of innovations and contribution to the society. So please help me welcome Sir on stage.
Namaskar. Respected distinguished panelists, Mr. Amitabh Chakrabarti, Dr. Durgesh Tripathi, Samrat Mukherjee ji, Professor Uma Shankar Pandey ji, and our anchor Prabhajit sir, and distinguished faculty members and participants. First of all, I thank you very much from the core of my heart for inviting us to this conclave. And I am told that this is an annual event which is organized by Sister Nivedita University. So I congratulate you all for organizing on a continuous basis. And I wish that in the times to come, we will have more such conclaves, and you will learn a lot from these kind of conclaves. I would divide my address in two parts, because first, let me tell you, I am not an advertising person, so but I am learning a lot by listening to all the experts, and I would be speaking as a layman only, that what I understand from advertising. But before that, I would like to introduce my organization. I will take 2-3 minutes. I belong to Indian Council of Social Science Research, and I worked there for 22 years, and still we keep on giving consultancy in the field of social science research. I don't know how many of you know about ICSSR, Indian Council of Social Science Research. That's an apex body that is established by Ministry of Education in the year 1969 for the promotion of social science research. We are based at Delhi. Our headquarters is at Delhi. We have got 27 research institutes spread across the country. And one of them is in Calcutta itself, that is CSSS. And then we have got 6 regional centers also. One of them is within the campus of CSSS. So next time when you visit CSSS, you can visit our regional center also. Then other 5 regional centers are at various places in various universities. Say for example, Northern Regional Center is at JNU. Northern Western Regional Center is at Chandigarh, Punjab University campus. Then Western Regional Center is at Mumbai University campus, Kalina. Southern Regional Center is at Osmania University. And Northern Eastern Regional Center is at Nehu, Northern Eastern Hill University. Then at ICSSR, we promote social science research. That is the basic objective. And we do it through various schemes. I will tell you in a nutshell, because my young scholars are also sitting here. I think most of them are post-graduation students, and then faculty members are also there. So for them, I would like to just narrate that we have got a research project scheme in which we award research projects in various categories. That is sponsored research projects, which are basically inter-institutional research projects. Then we have got major research projects, then minor research projects. So for them, we advertise once in a year. And let me tell you that we are going to have the advertisement very soon. I think maybe next week, we will have that advertisement. So those who are interested, you can apply to us. Then we have got fellowship schemes in which we provide, particularly my young scholars sitting in front of me, we provide doctoral fellowship, that is for 2 years duration. Then we also provide postdoctoral fellowships then senior fellowship for the faculty members, and national fellowships for the senior and very, very eminent social scientists. So these are various categories of fellowship which we provide. Then we also provide grant for organizing seminars, conferences, just like this. And I hope that in times to come, we will have more such ICSSR sponsored conferences in this very auditorium. So we will be discussing about that with the authorities, and then we will see that how we can organize. Maybe we may be a partner next time also, and our logo may also appear in this conclave, because this is a very, very useful and very, very productive, particularly conclave. So we hope that we will meet more often, and we will deliberate on various issues. And then also we provide grant for organizing research methodology course workshops, and then capacity building programs. So in that area also we will see that, because Bengal, you know, particularly West Bengal, they are the, you know, particularly known for their intellectualism, you know. So everything, whatever we have got from Bengal. So, I mean, people are my Rabindranath Tagore. I mean, if I keep on speaking, I think till morning, till night, I would be speaking about them. Our whole literature comes from West Bengal. Movies, they started from this. Culture, theater, you talk of anything. Even initially, we used to have most of the civil servants. If you talk about the ICS, particularly, they used to come from West Bengal, from Bengal or from South. So they have got a rich culture, and I think we would be more, ICSR would be more than happy to get associated with the Sister Nivedita University in promoting all those causes. And then we also provide you grant for attending the conferences and seminars abroad. So in case if you are planning to attend some conference, you can apply to ICSSR, and for that you have to apply at least 2 to 3 months in advance, and your paper should have been accepted by that. So based on your paper and the credibility of the conference, we give you grant. For general category, we give 50% of the grant, and for particularly SC, ST category, we give 100% grant. And then we also have got collaboration with more than 40 countries, and we have got exchange of scholars program, cultural exchange program. And then we have got, we also provide grant for, say, in case if you have got a journal, we can provide grant for, say, you can continue with that journal. We give you grant for the publication of research journal particularly, and we promote the journals, research which are being brought out by the different departments or by the university. So we give special emphasis for that. And then we have got a National Social Science Documentation Center also, which has got a rich collection of our documents, particularly our fellowship reports, research projects. So this is in nutshell about ICSSR. Now I would be talking for 2, 3, 5 minutes about, I know there is a strain of time. But see, as a layman, what I understand, so we have also seen advertising, you know. From, say, if we talk in terms of 60s, 70s, and now we are in the 21st century. So there is a change, lot of change. Some changes are for good cause, and some changes, you know, for, I mean, it is the way in which we take advertising with us. But what I feel is now that, I mean, I would agree with Samratji that it's a new era of advertising. Instead of a death of advertising, it's a totally new era, where it is now the consumer who is taking the lead. He is deciding that what he wants. Previously, that used to be decided by the advertising people, you know. They used to, I mean, decide everything, that how we are going to present the product. But now you have to take a feedback. Now market survey has become very important. So you have to see what and get the nerve that what people want.
it is not always that you want to skip say advertisement. Sometimes in case if the advertisement has got its emotional value, or if that advertisement is particularly related with the masses. Say for example, that national anthem advertisement that was done by A. Rahman, I think you like to see it 2 times, 3 times, 10 times. It is basically that how you prepare the advertisement, and how, what kind of truthfulness it has got. Now the days have gone, everybody knows that Karishma Kapoor is not going to use this Colgate, or she is not going to use this shampoo. Everybody knows now, we know that they use foreign products. They don't go for these products. So now everybody would like to see the contents. So you read about the contents, you would like to know more about the content. I mean, for example, I will just like to share that I was having that achar, pickles. I was having pickles, that lemon pickle. So because I've got some diabetic problem. So my daughter, just she saw the contents. She said, Papa, what you are doing? It has got 50% of the sugar. Immediately I left that. So now lot depends on the contents. What kind? They like that, they want to know that what kind of impact it has got. And then, so the advertising is changing a lot. I remember, say for example, in our older days, we used to have film posters. That used to be done by the offset printing. Because as a printing technologist, I have also done printing technology. So I know it was very difficult to prepare the banners, large banners. It was very difficult. We used to get it printed in the parts and then get it pasted. But now with this digital printing, it has changed the whole structure. The quality has changed. Previously, it was very difficult to recognize Hema Malini and Vijayanti Mala because the kind of quality of printing we used to have in the past. But now with this digital printing, you have got large banners and the time consuming is very less. Within 1 hour, you can have the whole digital printing done. So it has changed a lot. And you can see the packaging. Packaging has changed a lot. So this advertising world is now heading towards a new era where, the consumer is at the beneficial side. Now you have to, whether you like it or not, now with this Consumer Protection Act, for example, you have to be very careful. While, if you are showing any advertisement, and if anything is, falsely told in that advertisement, you can sue in the court of law. And every day, you read the news that even the products by various, large manufacturer, very, very big manufacturers, if they have got any kind of deficiency, so they have to go in the court of law. Particularly, say for Ramadev's, when this Ramadev products came, so those Patanjali products, they are being argued in the court of law. So, this is the kind of power this advertising world is giving to you. And now you can go to the masses with this digital advertising. You can go to the masses. Previously, we used to have advertisement in the newspaper. How many people would read the newspaper? But now with this, digital media, now it's for mass communication, particularly our TV world, our ad. So, it's going to the masses. So now particularly say for example, our government schemes, various government schemes, now people know about it. It's only due to this digital media that those schemes are being propagated, and now they can take benefit. Now our Honorable Prime Minister has also said, and he has told to his MPs and MLAs and all these people that they should advertise or they should spread these various schemes. Otherwise, government schemes used to be known by very few people. So now I think the advertising world is changing, and with each passing day, they are adopting to the new techniques. And let me tell you, our advertising is at par with any country. I have seen advertising in other countries also, but I was amazed. It was I was astonished to see that our advertising is much above than them in any sense, whether it is technology wise or whether it is any other way. But our technology, now we can say this is one area we are at global level. So we should congratulate ourselves that we are competing in this particular area, and I hope that in times to come we will grow with the time, we will grow with the technology, and then I think when these deliberations take place, they would also be get published, and people will come to know about the outcomes and the various stakeholders. These deliberations would be sent to them so that they can learn about the new things. I mean, I myself have learned so many things today, and I am very eagerly waiting for Mr. Amitabh Chakrabarti to, I would like to listen to him. So I won't be taking much time. So thank you very much for providing me this stage and this opportunity. And I wish you all the best for this conclave and in the future projects to come. Thank you very much.
So the days of monologue has gone. Advertising has entered, today, from the days of monologue to the days of dialogue. So today advertising is more about conversation. So two aspects that were highlighted in our speaker's, dissertation also, that basically one thing is emotive connection, which Mr. Pandey has, very elegantly, highlighted, the emotive connect, and he brought in Rasha Shastro of Dandin and, Abhinava Gupta, which I don't know whether our copywriters, have that. Maybe some of them has got that background. I mean, they do study. But definitely, Rasha Shastro in future will play a very important role in both emotive advertising, creating not only advertising, emotive communication, as well as, what we call sensory advertising. Sensory advertising, if you can't get back to emotive advertising and sensory advertising, then it will become true that advertising is going to die, people are speculating, And number two is personalized advertising. As Shamrat has also pointed out, some of our speakers have also, personalized advertising, tailor-made advertising, and emotional connect. These two factors, and I would request Mr. Amitabh Chakraborty, who has got a healthcare background, if he can throw some light, about the new genre of personalized advertising and, emotive advertising in the field of healthcare advertising. I mean, obviously, I would request him to throw some light on these areas because our students and our scholars will also be benefited. So I invite Mr. Chakraborty to come in. He's a healthcare professional. He's the head of corporate communications from Apollo. I request.
Good afternoon to all of you. Now, thank you. A very good afternoon to all of you. And at the outset, let me thank you for inviting me to this third National Media Conclave. Now, sessions immediately prior to and post lunch are quite dangerous. So I'll keep my deliberations quick and precise. For me, this has been a liberating experience. While I am partially related to advertising, I am mostly into the business. My primary role involves in taking care of the credit business for the Apollo hospitals. But this role is quite interesting as well. My role often puts me in front of very different gatherings, and the themes of discussions are mostly business oriented. However, for giving me this wonderful opportunity, I wish to convey my heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Minal Parekh, the Dean of School of Media, Communication, Fine Arts and Performing Arts at Sister Nivedita University. I hope all of you have enjoyed this wonderful, enlightening 3 days session at this media conclave, and I wish I could have attended the same. But prior to coming here, I happened to go through the website of the university. And in the homepage itself, the university talks about the numerous success stories, its students making it to the top institutions in the country. This university's achievements is also inspiring, particularly in the very short span of time. I'll be trying to shed some light on social media. That was the topic that was given to me. Social media and its consequent isolation syndrome. I'm unaware if this topic is well debated in India today. However, that doesn't take away the fact that this is one of the most pressing issues facing the society today. The body of work examining the relationship between social media and isolation syndrome in India is far and few. And most studies determining this relationship have been carried out in Western countries, particularly in the European continent and United States. In today's world, social media is among the largest services offered to people. Its growth has been phenomenal, much quicker compared to other forms of media. Social media has been a boon when it comes to connecting us to our family, friends, and acquaintances. Platforms such as Facebook and Instagram has connected us to people across the globe. We share our sense of achievement, voice our opinions, and express our creativity through these forms of media. On a cursory look, it seems that these platforms bring us closer, fostering a global community. However, beneath this facade of connectedness lies the essential paradox. Social media can sometimes make us feel more isolated than one can ever imagine. Isolation syndrome, as you are all aware, is a feeling of loneliness and disconnection despite being surrounded by online interactions. While we may have hundreds or even thousands of friends or followers, the interactions are often superficial. As a result, the validation we seek through likes and comments can create a sense of emptiness when those expectations aren't met, leading to feeling of inadequacy and isolation. In other words, social media often leads us to a mirage world. These networking platforms often presents an idealized version of life to us. We are bombarded with curated highlights of others' successes, relationships, and adventures. This constant comparison can lead to feeling of envy, inadequacy, and loneliness, often leading to depression. Simply put, it skews our perception, making us believe that everyone else is leading a better, more fulfilled life. In her research paper, Instagram Use, Loneliness and Social Comparison Orientation, Chia-Chen Young, a professor at the Oklahoma State University in the United States, draws a distinction between browsing activities and broadcasting activities. Her findings suggest that browsing activities over Instagram were associated with little to no loneliness, but broadcasting activities over Instagram were related to extreme loneliness. The finding implied that social networking sites were both positively and negatively correlated to loneliness depending on how one uses the platform. In spite of these online connections, we must ask ourselves, how deep are the relationships that we forge on social media? The nature of digital interactions, such as likes, shares, and comments, lack the depth of face-to-face communication. We may be in touch, but we aren't truly connected on an emotional level. The addictive nature of social media keeps us engaged but isolated from the real world. We scroll endlessly, seeking validation and entertainment, but this habit often leaves us disconnected from the people around us. The constant stream of updates can induce anxiety and the fear of missing out, what today we call as, in the Gen Z lingo, FOMO. We are driven to stay connected, but the compulsion often isolates us from the real world experiences and relationships. Professor Mustafi Shabi of Turkey's Firat University attempted to investigate the relationship between impulsivity, loneliness, and social media usage among the university students. His paper titled Relationship Between Impulsivity, Social Media Usage, and Loneliness, Shabi puts forth three findings. The first, frequency of using social media increased as the level of impulsivity increased. Second, level of loneliness increased once social media usage was increased. Third, and finally, the loneliness increased when there was a rise in impulsivity. Thus, he asserted a positive correlation between impulsivity, social media usage, and loneliness. Isolation syndromes can have serious consequences for mental health. Numerous studies have linked excessive social media use to anxiety, depression, and low self-esteem. The distinction between our online persona and our real self can create a disconnect, leading to feeling of loneliness and despair. In a 2020 paper, Social Media Use Disorder and Loneliness, Professor of Medicine at the Bellevue Medical Center in Lebanon, Rabi Hilat and his colleagues concluded that the existence of strong relationship between loneliness and social media use disorders along with other mental health illnesses. Also, a strong relationship was found between loneliness and insomnia, that is the lack of sleep, and between loneliness and alexithymia, that is the inability to identify and describe emotions. So what's the way out? The mantra is very simple. The benefits of the internet and social media outweigh its vices. Therefore, we must be conscious of how and why we use social media. Setting boundaries for screen time and focusing on quality interactions rather than quantity are the key to keeping the isolation syndrome at bay. One must learn to take regular breaks from social media to reconnect with one's own self and the surroundings. Engage in activities that promote real-world interaction and personal growth. With regard to broadcasting, we must learn to use the social media as a platform to share real experiences and struggles, not just our successes. Authenticity can foster a sense of community and mutual support. It is important that we return to the old days of prioritizing real-world connections and engaging in face-to-face interactions instead of virtual ones. Regularly meeting friends and family in person and engaging in group activities to nurture offline relationships go a long way in keeping away from loneliness. However, it is our educational institutions which will play a crucial role in promoting digital literacy. This will go a long way in effectively managing the menace of social media. Schools and colleges must teach students about the potential pitfalls of social media and how to navigate them responsibly. So, in conclusion, while social media can make us feel more connected, it sometimes leaves us trapped in the echo chamber of loneliness. We can scroll for hours, liking posts of cats doing yoga, and people who woke up like this. But trust me, no one ever woke up like that. So when you find yourself having more conversations with your phone than with actual humans, it might be time to step outside, breathe in some fresh air, and maybe, just maybe, have a real conversation with an actual person. I know it sounds scary, but trust me, no one has ever been ghosted by a face-to-face conversation with an actual person. So let's strive for balance, spend less time worrying about Wi-Fi signals, and more time strengthening our human connections. Because the only thing in life that should be buffering is Netflix. Thank you. And to answer your question, sir, I was asked to talk on a different topic. But to answer your question on advertising in the hospital, I don't particularly look entirely into that. But as you know, there are a host of hospitals. In fact, this group has one as well. But the advertising in hospital has to be more mature. more nuanced, given the kind of advertising that we do. For us, it essentially revolves around the USPs. Apollo is known for its extensive use of technology and precision. For instance, if we were to advertise on any issue, that would be rather a robotic surgery that talks about technology, or some new form of treatment that has just been introduced. And that is, of course, possible given the kind of hospital chain that we are, which involves, we involve ourselves extensively into research, and the outcomes of those research are often used as our USP while we advertise. While hospitals have two forms of advertising, but Apollo as a hospital, we don't go out to newspapers much. You will not see much of a hoarding. That is something the leadership believes in. We don't give out leaflets or anything. Our sort of advertisement would be the entire team traveling to various parts of India. For instance, Calcutta is the regional headquarters for the eastern region. We regularly have Calcutta teams, the Guwahati teams, traveling to the interior places in Northeast. So that is the form of advertising we do believe in. As far as billboards are concerned, newspaper ads are concerned, that is not the way for us to go. Digital, we do digital advertising. There's a separate wing that also looks into that. But that again also, for instance, we have something called a pro health check. So often we are bombarded with news of a person or the other passing away due to sudden cardiac arrest or some things like that, unfortunate incidents. So in that cases, what we do is, for instance, if we have to promote our health check packages. So we have various health check packages like the advanced cardiac care tests and all that. So if we have to promote those packages, what we have done is, in our health check packages, we have introduced AI. So across Apollo hospitals, and we have 73 of them in this country, all the results of these tests are analyzed by AI in Chennai. And when a person undergoes, even if it's a 40-year-old man or a woman undergoes these packages, their test results are also analyzed by AI. It is a predictive test that gives you an analysis of how your health is going to be over the next 10 years. Of course, there are writers, I do agree to that. But when we advertise this, we don't want to advertise this as a health check package. What we will pick up from this is its USP, the AI-enabled complete care that we are able to give, and we are trying to do predictive health. So that is the way we like to do about that. Thank you.
Unfortunately, we don't have much time for question and answer session, but still, I will, if the students or the scholars who are here, especially the students, if you want to ask one or two questions, we don't have more than 5 minutes. So if you want to ask one or two questions, please go ahead. You can come over here and ask the questions also so that they can hear. This was a very, yeah, they're actually, I think they're dumbfounded. It was such a, so. So I think, so no questions. So everything is clear to you. I mean, whatever they are discussed is crystal clear. If you don't want to speak, you can write something and send it to me also so that I can pass it on to them. If you want to write one or two questions, you can do that. Yeah, send Arindam a WhatsApp message or something. But you have got 2 minutes for that, not more than that, because now there will be a lunch break and the volunteers have to take over to, take our guests to, the. Anindam.
Acha, they will not be asking. Hello. Yeah. So it's not a question, kind of. It's just a perspective that I would want to discuss. When we talk of advertising, we talk of so many aspects of advertising today. Suddenly हम देखें कि लोग चीज़ें बेचना बंद कर दिए हैं, लोग issues बेच रहे हैं अभी, लोग अभी emotions बेच रहे हैं. क्यों ये जो shift हुआ है, ये shift बड़ा नया है, और इस shift के चलते controversy भी आ रहे हैं. जैसे if you're trying to break religious barriers and get into advertising, you're trying to break caste barriers and bring about advertising, caste neutral ads as we call. You can call zero focus ads, means where it works like a hypodermic needle theory that we talk about. It focuses on one element and it keeps banging on it so that it gets into people's head. This kind of ads are happening. ऐसा ही एक है जिसके बारे में I think the students would want to know are hyper local ads by multinational brands. Multinational brands are going hyper local. I make example दे रहा हूँ. मैं उस दिन देख रहा था Spotify जो है, जो म्यूजिक जो है, Spotify नॉर्थ कैलकाटा में कुछ एड्स कुछ दिन पहले लगाए थे, जो एड्स they were specifically talking about North Calcutta narrow lanes and Adda and Bengali songs that you can hear on Spotify. Same Spotify in Baliganj crossing had put up an ad on the swanky malls and the hookah bars.
I think, Arindam, this has more to do with AI, because, just tell ChatGPT that give me something based on...
Yeah, I just wanted your perspective on the creative part also. कि क्या सोच से आप एक शहर को 4 हिस्सों में बांट दे रहे हो? मतलब अब बांद्रा में जो ऐड कर रहे हो, वो ऐड आप जाके अदर एंड वाशी में जाके नहीं कर रहे हो. मतलब if you could talk on this, yeah.
The entire idea is to connect better, so how a North Calcutta person is going to react by seeing that a brand talking about my surroundings versus a global conversation, it will have a much deeper impact, much immediate connect. So that's what is happening today. So every brand is finding a way how they can connect with their consumers, not in one single manner, but with multiple manners. And that's hyperlocal.
What I would say that it is as good as that proximity what we have heard. It's just near to that proximity. If any accident is taking place nearby area, that is more important to you. So the same thing I think has been adopted in this way. That if you can adopt to the nearby culture or nearby place, so I think that works some more. So I think that is the whole idea behind that.
Now, just to add to that, I mean, now it's much easier for you to, make it tailor-made, just to use that cliche, for, as personal or as focused as you can. But the point is that this is, based on the same test data set and all that, and it's based on the same transformer principle. The idea is how to make that emotional connect more important, because otherwise, give me, a copy and, ask me to write for a person in North Nepal. I can, give in, certain pointers which they would identify with. But the idea is not, because, technology is already doing it, but how do you make that emotional connect? As I said, it's much more deeper and it's much more sophisticated. So it has to be, some human reinforcement also in getting
according to my observation, it has already been started by the print media and the television media earlier. I think it's a decade before. They have started the focusing on the local news, then publication, then the addition, like Aaj Tak National, then Aaj Tak UP, Aaj Tak West Bengal, ABP Majha in Maharashtra.
After that, advertising company and advertising organization, they have adopted the same idea for the localization or a hyper local or any kind of a engagement, and so many things you can discuss about with the various communication perspectives.
Acha, there's another thing that I wanted to, I had been running around, so I could not be present throughout, but I don't know whether you've discussed it. But there is something very interesting that we talk when we teach advertising also. We teach the psychology of advertising. What is the mindset behind an ad? How a society creates an ad? How a society creates an ad, when I'm saying is, how a copywriter, being a part of the society, gets influenced by the societal norms or the societal thoughts, and it comes out in his copy. In that context, do you really think that what we used to call surrogate ads, it really exists today? Or rather, all ads are surrogate? Uma, if you can start, I know it's your area, so if you could start. And then there is a last question which I'll ask.
Okay, I thought that we are already into lunchtime. I didn't want to give you too much food for thoughts. So a lot of those, as I said, is traditional boundaries between content and traditional advertising is getting blurred. So it's there. It's always there. Bolte ami amar YouTube channel kotha bollam. It's there. It's there in the conversations. So I think since a lot of those rules are already there, surrogate ads in some form will have to be there, because, and we've had stalwarts like Sachin Tendulkar, for example, deciding that he would never do a tobacco ad or he would never do an alcohol ad or whatever. So we have those restrictions. Plus, of course, this is a point that, many of us, it's a reality, many of us started smoking because we saw Ajay Devgan or Shah Rukh Khan or the generation before us, Uttam Kumar, making those circles, huh? And so that point is there. So I'm sure those regulations are important. It will be there. Of course, if somebody wants to go, around that, that is definitely a problem, and that again will be, because everything is under too much of scrutiny these days. Every word you utter, every joke you share, if it's gender insensitive, people will start raising their hands. What are you doing? So a lot of those things which were possible 10 years back, it's not possible now. So this will be there in a different form. So surrogacy in the sense that the traditional boundaries will be blurred. So more of content marketing, as we would say. It's there in the content. It's there in, and it's not as stark as, the Bagban movie where Hema Malini every day, opens that, new pack of tea or whatever. So it's not in your face like that. It's much more. And as I said, it's because technology makes it possible for us to, weave it into the storyline in a much more, how to put it, natural way.
That we are talking about technology. Ajay sir, Durgesh sir, Samrat, Amitav, anyone can take this question. Of course, Uma, because I know. Emotionally generative AI, which is something we have just entered into. It is all done and dusted, and it's just because of some laws that in US we know that it's not being implemented. So it's a done technology. So it's ready to come out into the market, and it's going to wipe out a big part of the creative content that makers, whatever it is. And a part of it, झलकी हमको मिल रहा है Instagram में AI influencers से, जो कि ads कर रहे हैं और जो कि हम आपसे बात कर रहे हैं. एक इन्फ्लुएंसर है, कोई एक इन्फ्लुएंसर, अगर मैं हूँ, कोई हमको इंस्टा में आके बोल रहा है कि आप ये शर्ट का ऐड बना रहे हो, आप इतने मोटे हो, आपको अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है ये शर्ट में, ठीक है, आई माइट फील बैड अबाउट इट, लेकिन वो AI विल नॉट फील बैड अबाउट इट. वो AI will take that into consideration. In next maybe 5 or 6 weeks, the AI will come up in a much more slimmer package and say कि आपने कहा था तो मैं slim हो गया और मैं आके अभी ये शर्ट पहन रहा हूँ, ठीक है, तो ये जो हो रहा है, ये जो ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन हो रहा है ऐड के दुनिया में, वेयर विल दैट लीड टू ह्यूमन कंटेंट? क्योंकि अभी तो इमोशंस के अंदर वो व्हाट वी से कंप्यूटिव or whatever, logging or whatever. So the way you are reacting, वो अंदर ही अंदर वो chatbot is also reconsidering it and उनका data reset कर रहा है to know how to react to you according to the situation. वो कर लेगा और फिर आप क्या करोगे? Means you do not have a place to get dissatisfied. Dissatisfaction होना भी बहुत important है आज के दिन में. You are, everything cannot be a bed of roses. You have to be dissatisfied. Then there is this urge to create something new. So please, if anyone can.
I would say the different perspective of the same. Before we are going to dive into the communication, AI, and digital technology, before of that I would like to recall one of the major incident in the advertising field. आपको याद होगा 4 P's का कॉन्सेप्ट दिया था फादर ऑफ द मार्केटिंग फिलिप कोटलर ने. मुझे आज भी याद है 2002 या 2004 की बात है और उस समय मैं भी स्टूडेंट था और मैं न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ता था. तो बिजनेस स्टैंडर्ड एक अखबार था, उसमें एक क्वार्टर पेज का एडवर्टीजमेंट था कि फिलिप कोटलर इंडिया में आ रहे हैं, बेंगलोर में, इंडिया में बेंगलोर में ले मेरिडियन, आज तक मुझे याद है 5000 की उसकी एंट्री फ़ी थी उसमें उनकी कॉन्फ्रेंस में जाने के लिए. 2002 के आसपास में 5000. उसमें उन्होंने एक नया कॉन्सेप्ट दिया CCDV. 4 P's तो हम लोग सब जानते थे कि पैकेज की बात, प्रोडक्ट है, प्राइस है, पैकेज है और सारा कुछ करके प्राइस और ये सब प्लेस, प्रमोशन, सब बाद में प्रमोशन भी जुड़ गया, पैकेजिंग, बहुत सारी चीज़ें. उन्होंने कहा CCDV, कम्युनिकेटिंग टू द कस्टमर, कुछ ऐसे था, डिलीवरिंग टू द कस्टमर, CCDV कुछ ऐसे करके. हाँ, उसमें उनका कहना ये था कि इफ़ यू वांट टू कनेक्ट, इफ़ यू वांट टू इंगेज विद योर कस्टमर, यू हैव टू कम्युनिकेट विद देयर ओन लैंग्वेज. और मैं इसको थोड़ा सा और डिफरेंट पर्सपेक्टिव पे देता हूँ. खुशवंत सिंह जी ने, सब जानते हैं यहाँ पे, मीडिया के स्कॉलर हैं, उन्होंने एक बात कही थी कि जब आप अदर देन अपनी मदर टंग में बात करते हैं तो आप झूठ ज़्यादा बोलते हैं. आप उसको नेगेटिव पॉजिटिव जिस भी लेना चाहें आप ले लें, पॉजिटिव भी ले सकते हैं, नेगेटिव भी ले. कि खुशवंत सिंह जी का कोट है, आप चेक कर सकते हैं. तो उन्होंने ये बात कही, फिर मैंने फिलिप कोटलर को कनेक्ट किया. उसके बाद से मुझे आज भी याद है कि 2002 के आसपास में जो टेलीविज़न पे एड्स आते थे तो वो पहले उसमें हिंदी में आते थे, बाद में वो सारे रीजनल लैंग्वेज में ट्रांसफॉर्म होने लगे, ट्रांसलेट होने लगे. बांग्ला में पेप्सी का ऐड आने लगा. मैं उस दौरान 2004 के आसपास में मुंबई गया तो मराठी में मैंने वो देखा पेप्सी. तो ये जो चीज़ फिलिप कोटलर जैसे आदमी ने कही, ये हम टेक्नोलॉजी की बात कर रहे हैं, हम AI की बात कर रहे हैं, हम एंगेजमेंट की बात कर रहे हैं, उससे पहले, और मैं इसको कनेक्ट करता हूँ प्रोफेसर USP की प्रेजेंटेशन से, यदि आप सबको ध्यान हो तो उसमें इन्होंने एक बात बहुत क्लियरली मेंशन किया था कि जब भी कुछ आप देखते हैं और कनेक्ट करते हैं और इंगेज करते हैं, बिफोर ऑफ दैट यू हैव रियलाइजेशन, सेल्फ रियलाइजेशन, एक्चुअलाइजेशन. एम आई राइट? उसके बाद वो सारी प्रक्रिया शुरू होती है. देन योर माइंड और इमोशंस कैन बी एबल टू कनेक्ट एंड टू इंगेज विद योर प्रोडक्ट और एडवर्टीजमेंट. तो मुझे लगता है कि CCTV का जो कॉन्सेप्ट फिलिप कोटलर यदि मार्केटिंग गुरु कहते हैं, केलॉग्स मार्केटिंग इंस्टीट्यूट US में या वर्ल्ड का इतना बड़ा इंस्टीट्यूशन माना जाता है आज भी, तो मुझे लगता है कि कहीं न कहीं से इसको देखना होगा हमें कि लैंग्वेज इसमें बहुत बड़ा रोल प्ले करता है. बिफोर ऑफ दैट वी आर गोइंग टू इंगेज, टू कनेक्ट एंड टू AI, टू डेटा, टू XYZ, ब्ला ब्ला ब्ला. प्लीज.
मैं तो थोड़ा स्पेसिफिक व्हाट यू आस्क्ड कि you made a statement in between that AI is going to wipe out the professionals maybe, you know. So that's I have an absolute counter perspective to that, and it's one of the most favorite topic in any gathering today, as in what AI is going to do. It's very simple, you know. So AI, we know it as artificial intelligence. I look at it from the point of adaptive intelligence. So it is only an enabler. Only a human will be able to run that. It is not going to act on its own. And it's the same manner, and we have seen this transformation as in because of our long career, we have seen transformations as in people used to do artworks by hand, Photoshop came in. People thought as in these new players as in who will go to an institute will come and do great arts. No, it has not happened that way. Those artists who used to do things by their hand, they learned Photoshop and they started producing better content, better designs, better arts. Same thing happened with a digital camera, right? People suddenly thought good photographers, their days are gone because everyone has a DSLR now, they're clicking so many pictures and things are happening. Those photographers, prominent photographers learned how to use DSLRs. And we know as in what kind of photography can happen today. So it's the same thing. With over time as in technology will bring in new stuff and they're all for our which will only help in increasing efficiency. So times will come down, we will be able to produce more, and we need to look at AI as our assistants. So which is going to only help us brainstorm faster, see multiple options faster, and there will be that human brain on top of everything. That layer is not going to get missed. Because that human layer is going to define, is going to identify what is going to work, what is that consumer truth that is there in the society which needs to be triggered. And we can only command, we can only put the command to these GPTs of the world to produce things for us. So it's not that AI is going to take away anything. AI is only going to bring in more efficiency to the world.
I have to. When I joined college in 2002, we had a stenographer. And, he used to type a letter on the typewriter. And then, by that time, computer was already there. I said, Dada, why are you doing that? Why don't you save it? Because, say, for example, one letter is addressed to Shomrat. When he has to type the next letter to Durgesh ji, he has to do the entire thing again. I had to, kind of convince him that, this is how you have to, save it so that the next time. So the earlier part was that, the whole day he would write 10 letters. Then when he got into computers, he could write 100 letters. His spelling mistakes got better. A lot of those things, the formatting got better. Because the typing, dung, and, putting it like that, and then justification was not possible. Now, there is no post of stenographer. No college, no government-aided college has the post of stenographer working. So it's done by that. The idea is now there are other people. Now that's again, very important, interesting story. Just to give me 15 seconds. There is an accountant. He works on Excel, but he uses Excel as a word processor. Otoshi knows that person. I'm not going to take his name. He writes everything. Say, for example, 55, 90, 63, 20. I told you that story the other day. What he does is he takes out a calculator, and then he again puts all those figures there, and then in the end is equal to he writes there. He never ever uses the summation thing, or he never ever drags it or whatever. So that's how he uses it. Of course it's a digital assistant. Of course it's a massive thing. But see, this is one technology which will change things much more deeply than mobile technology or internet technology or those kind of things, because it impacts every level of the computing process. The brainstorming is done by that artificial intelligence. The ideas are given by them. The 30 days, what am I going to post it with, what kind of hashtag and all, and it starts getting better. I tell them, use more active voice. Use, just change the length of your sentences. Do not use chat GPT words like tapestry, nuances, landscape, ecosystem, sophistication. So that human reinforcement will be there. But the idea is that the assistant we have, a lot of his friends, they are INCA Information and Cultural Affairs Department officials. I happened to be there at a training session with them. One of their biggest concern was that the government does not give them any assistant. Now, उनके पास assistant है. वो ये बता रहे हैं कि sir, এখন আমি একটু বেশি শোকজ টাইপ করতে পারবো কারণ আমাকে কিছু করতে হচ্ছে না. In the other way, you know, there were some other people, sir, এটা কি করলেন? What have you done? তো রোজ আমাকে শোকজ দেবে. দাঁড়ান, আপনি ওই শোকজের উত্তরটা আপনাকে কিন্তু কিছু লিখতে হবে না, ওই লিখে দিচ্ছে. ওটাও AI লিখে দিচ্ছে. So things have become a lot more simpler. Lot of the essays that are submitted to us, they are in much better English these days, no English mistakes. So how we make use of these kind of things is what is important. I'm sure, you know, we are looking at very interesting times, because right now it's only about words. DALL-E is not very good with images. Imagine when it gets better with images. Yeah. So how it gets better? I mean, how it's more, I mean, it gives you option like whether it's natural, whether it's 3D, or whether it's animated or whatever. I mean, it's going to get better and better with pictures and with video as well. So we are looking at very interesting times.
Talking about stories, so you were saying something? Boli sir.
I would just term it as, you know, if you see a movie, say if it's a Hindi movie, and if it is dubbed in any other language, you watch in both ways, then you will realize what is artificial intelligence and what is the difference between the two. And similarly, nowadays you can see, you know, so many anchors, they are having their AI version also. You can see, you can visualize the kind of emotion. See, once I remember when this Upahar tragedy took place in Delhi, so there was one, what was his name, anchor? SP Singh. He was the anchor. He wept while he was narrating the story. So that kind of emotion can never be created by AI. So AI is different. These things are different. I mean, you can always go for if you use AI for other purposes is okay. Say for robots. But robotic doesn't mean that it will lead to unemployment. I mean, for certain areas you require robotic, particularly for surgeries and other things. So you require that kind of technology. It has to come. Nobody can stop that. So similarly, artificial intelligence is our future. But only thing is how we use it. I mean, that can never replace human. Human emotions are very important. Thank you.
I'd just like to add over here, there's nothing robotic about a robotic surgery. so it is AI, while if you were to look at the healthcare industry or the medical industry, AI could replace people like us, those who look after business, those who look after administration. We can be replaced, but doctors can never be. AI cannot replace the human brain. So for instance, just for understanding, robotic surgery is a robot standing there. It is the doctor who is sitting in the console and controlling all its arms. It has nothing to do with robot. It's just more precision surgery. It's more magnified surgery. So in a open surgery, earlier veins used to be cut because you don't have that 30x vision. Now in a robotic surgery, you have a 30x vision, and the doctor, when he's cutting the veins through the console, he just wants to bypass that vein and cut. So that is it. But otherwise, there's nothing robotic about it.
15 seconds for a joke. I mean, just because Gupta ji was saying, so I thought that I should. So when people go into airports and when they're returning back to their country, you see all of them heading for the liquor counter. Hardly anyone goes to the bookstore. So they ask that, why is it so that people only go to the liquor counter and they don't go to the bookstore? The reason is that till now, you cannot download liquor sitting at your home. That is why.
Okay, that's good. That's a good one. But I have two very small anecdotes, each countering each other. You must have read it in the papers. It was all over the tech gadgets also. That a robot in South Korea has committed suicide. the first robot suicide, because it could not answer or satisfy 10 consecutive customers and their questions. So it just went along the floor and it broke through the glass pane and it fell down 10 floors. So that's one example I'm just giving, and then I'm giving a counter example. It was a Google summit. It happened in 2010, where Google brought in their first supercomputer in New York. If you all remember, it was their first supercomputer. And a galaxy of brilliant minds had gathered to ask questions and to defeat it. After a session of almost 2 hours, the robot was invincible. The supercomputer was invincible. It had answered from stars to the grass, everything. Every question thrown at it was answered. And then one gentleman got up and he asked, they were closing the session, and then he asked that, you have answered everything, and to the great applause of the whole auditorium, how do you feel? And the supercomputer said, I am not prepared to answer this question. Okay, so in 1 second, a supercomputer went from being the impregnable hero to a complete zero. So while we are all very in the field of creative writing, we know that human minds can't be replaced. But yes, AI will be a constant alongside us. For example, if I have to, very simple, if I have to book a complaint for my AC, I no longer talk to a person, I talk to a chatbot. The chatbot tells me, I am giving you 3 options, sir, fill in the 1, 2 or 3, and I see that my option is the 4th one. It's not there in the 3rd, in the 1, 2, 3 bracket. So in the more section, I write it out. And then they say that we will get back to you with an answer on this. So still now it's a process, it's still developing, but hopefully advertising will continue and in its human form on this. It will continue and it's in its human form. Yeah.
For me, as in there is no wrong answers. Yeah. It's all about the right question. And they don't ask questions to us. Questions will be asked by the humans, and where, as in, we will always be on top layer of whatever technology comes in.
You are almost Oscar Wilde-ish. Oscar Wilde, after his first play, went without a single spectator. He was asked by a reporter that you have only 5 people seeing your play. What do you have to say? He said, my play is great. The audience was a disaster. Ajay, we have one more question before we wrap up. Prerana, he's sitting for a long time with a question. Yeah, Prerana.
How it eases our life and about its enhancement. In the sector of healthcare, I wanted to ask, because you talked about predictive healthcare. We have always heard about preventive healthcare. You said about AI-induced predictive healthcare. So if we get the predictions about our healthcare after a health checkup package is being done, about after or within 5 or 10 years, what are the diseases or what my health things are saying that what can happen to me? Don't you think it might take a toll on their mental health? And while we know that there are a lot of things that are good about AI, this is which can take a toll on mental health. Like this can be a disadvantage.
It might be a disadvantage, as you may say, but it might also be an advantage and save you from sudden shocks in life. Healthcare has evolved over the years. Initially, healthcare was limited only to hospitals. Following that, we started, healthcare institutions across the world started believing preventive healthcare. Now, with preventive healthcare, there is an addition to it, predictive healthcare. Predictive healthcare is not a segregation in itself. It is coupled with preventive healthcare. It is to make you wiser about what you might face, but in no way it says that you are at 50, you're going to have a heart attack. It says about the condition of your heart and advises you on what necessary steps you might take so that you might not have a heart attack. That is what predictive healthcare is.
Very quickly, just let me tell you, because this is about healthcare, just Google Halicin, Halicin. That was a drug that was discovered by artificial intelligence. What happens is that when you have to, look for a new antibiotic or whatever, you add one molecule, you remove another, and the human process takes very, very, very long. In 2020, Halicin was discovered, which could, which was kind of a super antibiotic. So, I mean, it's 2020, so in 24 it's getting much better. So, a lot of the things which were humanly almost impossible. I mean, for example, when it plays chess, it does a lot of counterintuitive things. It sacrifices its queen on the first thing. And you think, what is happening? Because it looks at logic, or it looks at those calculations in a very different way. So a lot of these things are changing. So a lot of those drugs that you're going to have is going to be, much quicker and much faster, because they do those calculations in a very different way, in a much faster way. So you can search for Halicin, Halicin. That's a 2020 drug discovered by artificial intelligence.
On this note, we will sum up the session, but not without saying that we have artificial intelligent activated human in between us. His name is USP. Like, I don't know how he churns out the number of videos he churns out every day, and with regularity and of such standard. Congratulations to USP for that. A big hand for him, because we all look forward to his next session. And believe me, I take down certain notes on data and stuff like that, and I use it because I'm not a very data elevated guy. And another thing which he does is beautiful. He's absolutely invested in Indiology, and the quotes from Bhagavad Gita that he sends every morning, it's very inspiring. Yes, so thank you, Uma, on that note. And he's my junior, and I love him like a brother, so I'm a little biased towards him. So, but it was a fantastic session. To all my dignitaries and guests, a big thank you for coming here. And from the motley crowd, can we have a big round of applause? That sounds like a auditorium full. Yes. Will you please add to it? Thank you, sir. Thank you once again.